Welcome to From the Den podcast, providing Bears and NFL fans alike with compelling news, discussion, and debate. I'm your co-host Benjamin, joined alongside my dear friend and co-host Oren.
Hey Benjamin, let's get right into it. As always, kickoff starts now.
So, do you think that David Montgomery is a good receiving back? And if so, why wasn't he utilized more in that position in 2019?
Yeah, I definitely think he's a good receiving back, or even if he's not great, 100% better than Jordan Howard. And like I'll put it this way. I'm not sure how great of a receiving back he is, but he was definitely drafted to have that part of a role. There was some quote, I think you might have touched on it in another episode, maybe me, I don't know, about Matt Nagy saying he didn't like having Jordan Howard because their offense was so predictable when he was out. Jordan Howard was a not great receiving back. He didn't catch balls a lot. So when Jordan Howard was out on the field, it was obvious that the Bears were going to do a run. And Matt Nagy was such a creative offense. He likes to, have some trickery or have the defense confused and not always know what they're going to do. Go on.
Only thing I would say to you is that, yes, but Matt Nagy didn't utilize David Montgomery in a position where he was catching more balls than Jordan Howard.
Well, yeah. I was going to get to that. I think Ryan Pace definitely drafted David Montgomery to be a receiving back. I don't have the stats on me at hand, so, I could easily be wrong about this, but I would go on a limb and say that David Montgomery caught more passes or had more targets or something. He was involved more in the receiving game than Jordan Howard was. So when you're asking about being a good receiving back, I'm not sure about good, but I know that he was picked to fill that role. So yeah, that's what I'll leave it at.
Yeah, so I agree that he was picked to fill that role. But my only problem is that I do agree that he was picked to fill that role, and I think that what you said, the quote that I said earlier about Jordan Howard and how predictable he was, I think that especially in a Matt Nagy offense where it's kind of all about unpredictability and you don't know what's going to happen, and it's like defense always on their toes, they don't know what's going to happen. I think that having Jordan Howard in just made it very predictable, and it kind of took something out of the offense. But it felt like they traded Jordan Howard for a 6th-round pick to get Montgomery, who, don't get me wrong, I think is an upgrade over Jordan Howard skill-wise. But I think
you do?
I do. I truly do. I think Jordan Howard, and I think once you look at their careers, once they both end, David Montgomery will have such a better career than Jordan Howard.
Well, yeah, also it might just be because he's given the opportunity. Jordan Howard's in he's still in Philadelphia, yeah?
No, I think he signed with Miami.
Oh, well, all I'm saying is Jordan Howard's been bounced around the league, but, maybe Jordan Howard would have had a good career in Chicago if he had stayed there. So, part of David Montgomery having a good career just could be attributed to being drafted in the right team. But yeah.
I mean, yeah. But I think also my thing about talking about how the Bears need to utilize David Montgomery to his strengths, they need to utilize his receiving ability. Now, obviously, that's not its biggest strength, and the Bears didn't draft him to draft a running back that's only good at receiving.
Right.
To get a very good running back who also can catch the ball. But obviously, he didn't really do that, which is a bit of a problem. I think the Bears need to be able to figure out a way to get him to do that next year.
Well, do you think if the Bears offense is doing well, is it that big of a deal if David Montgomery catches ball or not? And also, what leads you to believe that David Montgomery didn't do was David Montgomery not targeted a lot, or did he drop it a lot? Why do you said obviously it didn't work out so well? So I'm just wondering what led you to conclude that he wasn't well in the receiving game last year.
Well, I'm not saying he didn't catch a lot of balls or dropped it. I'm saying is that he didn't play well because not only was he not getting plays called for him, it was that, for example, I think Matt Nagy would use Tariq Cohen a bit too much in the receiving game, which sounds kind of crazy. But in 2018, the Bears, I think, were trying to use Tariq Cohen as less of a receiver.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but that's his strength. But the reason I think they got David Montgomery was also to make it less predictable for the time that Tariq Cohen's in. Because if David Montgomery is also a receiving back, you could have Tariq Cohen or David Montgomery in the game to catch the balls. While if you're in the 2018 offense, Jordan Howard is for running, and Jordan Howard's for running, and Tariq Cohen is more for catching, which makes it even more predictable. But it felt like it was the same thing as 2019.
If you enjoyed this episode of From the Den, please remember to subscribe, comment, and like this video.
Or if you're a Packers fan,
Remember to dislike and leave a nasty comment. Click the links on the screen to access additional content.